Welcome to our next hands-on where we will have a look at Python and Excel. Seems kind of funny because, well, both use data and analyze them, so why should I combine them? I should probably either use Python or Excel. Well, for some tasks that might be true, many tasks you have to do in your daily lives in businesses are based on Excel tasks because many people use Excel, but some of it is just not practical. Often you have to do repetitive tasks, join different Excel files, stuff like that, and it's just kind of boring, error prone, and so on and so forth. And Python can help us to automate this boring things and take our time for the interesting stuff to better ourselves and stuff like that. And I will try to motivate why this is important, and then we will dive directly into some hands on how we can use that in businesses, and hopefully you can apply that in your daily lives afterwards. So to do that, we first have to understand how data in company is usually shared. Oftentimes, we have those IT infrastructure in the backbone in the end, where we have databases, often relational databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL, um, and so on and so forth. Sometimes data warehouses as well. And then on top of that, we have applications and such as ERP system like SAP, which many in the company use as well. However, the higher up in the hierarchy we go, the more to management processes we come, the further Outlook tools like Excel, PowerPoint, and Word are used to share data, even though we have the structured data which we could analyze quite good. So many data in companies is somewhere in PowerPoint, somewhere in Excel files, somewhere in Word files, and need to be in these formats because some top management levels just don't get how databases function and cannot process that. So they want Excel files. So, for example, you need to do a report of the current KPIs of this month, and you are in a sales business. What you basically then have to do is export data from SQL files in single Excel files and combine other Excel files already existing and pre-processed Excel files in the company. And more often that you want, you have to merge them into bigger Excel files so you can process this combined information, which was in single Excel files stored in the company, to actually start processing and calculating, for example, the KPIs of the whole company or for a certain distribution like logistics and stuff like that, even if you just want to know how much is in stock. That happens more often than you want, especially in management positions, because many people lack the information knowledge, the IT knowledge, which they could profit from in being more efficient. However, they don't. So those often will be merged, those single Excel files, into big, large Excel files, which then in the next step will be somehow put into big, shiny presentations, which are then presented to some audiences in the management era, like the management presentation A, the management presentation B, doesn't matter which is the topic right now, but we then go into presenting them. Once they're then signed and everything's okay, we then document it in a Word file to say, okay, this is the management report documentation. The problem here is that would be okay if you would have to perform that task once and then it's done, then you have to Word document and nobody cares about it anymore. However, more often than you want to, this is a yearly, monthly, or weekly task you have to do over, and over again. Because let's say this is a monthly report to the management board, and you have to do that every month again. Let's say this is the business report you have to do once in a year because you're actually public and you can buy stocks of your company. So you have to do it once a year for all the investors that they get a business and management report of your company. And you have to do that once a year. That's kind of boring, right? I mean, you studied for a reason to be somehow in the future working on cool stuff, and now you could face a problem where you have to do 2 or 3 weeks a month these boring, stupid tasks you don't want to do. Your time could be much better invested in higher effort tasks, where more knowledge is needed. So the problem that the data is often spread over a couple of Excel files, even though we have good backends and we could do that all better, is practical every day. Many companies suffer from such issues. And now you have to do reporting tasks. Each time you have to merge them. The problem is they occur quite regularly, yearly, monthly, weekly, and your time could be invested in much better tasks. In the end, you actually don't want to do that. Examples could be that you have to calculate the yearly bonuses, right? So you have in different information systems, you have the data of your staff, you have the data of how much they did sell and stuff like that, and how much money they made. And based on these data you then have to calculate with fancy Excel files, whatever, and spreadsheets, how much bonus they should get. The product data, you have several products. Let's say you have 10 products on 10 web stores, or even only one web store, and each is a transactional file. So you have when it was sold, how much it was sold, to which price it was sold. And you only want to calculate how many toothpaste in a year you have sold at which average price, to say, okay, toothpaste was a good product this year. It ran much better than, for example, mustard or whatever. In the end, you have to join a lot of Excel files, and this is a cumbersome task. And then, or market data, you have to compare monthly, etc. pp. However, we already looked at Python and are familiar with the option that with scripts and program codes, we can automate quite a bit of tasks. And there's actually a book on that for business work about automate the boring stuff using Python. And the whole idea behind that is that in your daily businesses, you face a lot of things which you do over and over again, which are boring. And once you write a script and do that once, which might take 3 or 4 times the time it would take to do that once, but you have to do that over and over again, joining those Excel files, merging them. So you do that once, and then you have to never worry about it again. It could change a bit in the future, but then you have to face the code again, change a tiny script part, and everything's fine again. With that, a lot of time is saved, and we could all be more efficient. And today, I want to give you one example, because one of the biggest problems is always Excel, and there's a good tool in Python called OpenPyXL, with like extra large, but it's short for Excel. OpenPyXL, and we will use that to just merge different Excel files into one big Excel file. So you have your data sources, combine them, have your big data source in the end, and then you can work in Python or Excel, whatever you want, to basically make the analysis you need to. But the whole preparation of the data, combining them into one big spreadsheet, that work we can automate. And I will show you how. So the task in the next couple of videos will be, you have to summarize the current sales numbers of different products. Your boss wants a cool dashboard he can handle in Excel, so you need to analyze that in the future, but we don't go that far. However, the problem is most data is stored in Excel in different Excel files. And every time he needs it monthly or yearly, it doesn't matter, you have to merge them. And every time you copy and paste stuff, it's an error-prone task. It could happen that there's a copy-paste error, or and in the end, it takes a lot of time of you. So your idea is you use Python, merge those files together into one big file, and then you can begin to transfer the data in the dashboard, in Excel, or in Python, whatever the tool you want. But the merging part, which is a manual task, will be handled afterwards every time by the script. That's the idea, and that we will look at in the next videos. It should be clear, however, that for a simple calculation, for example, you want to add 2 cells together, and you have to do that once, okay? A Excel is fine. Excel is a perfect spreadsheet tool. Probably not perfect, but a good spreadsheet tool. Python would be kind of over-engineered for that task. However, if you have to do that over and over and over again, OpenPyXL, a package for Python, could help you to automate some stuff. So note the difference when to use which tool. You do not have to use it, but in some circumstances, it totally makes sense. So have fun with the videos I provided for you, and hopefully you will have fun. See you in the next video.